actively targeting the younger generation. Do you have any evidence pointing to that, or is it sort of some rumors going around about that, or?
Yeah, I'm sure it's an aspect of it, Susan. I think the mercury will damage the development of children's brain functioning and whole capacity to develop their intellectual and emotional capacities, so that many of the kids who will get this, even if they survive it, will suffer lifetime damage through this mercury and squalene, quite apart from all these other issues. So I'm afraid we're under humanity is under assault through these vaccines, through the Codex Alimentaris, through artificially created famines and economic collapses and wars. And now we're beginning to realize who's behind it. Behind it is the same group over and over again, this network, which seems to have its base in Europe and be centered around the Bilderbergs, and involve also some royal families here, as well as the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. And be very strong at the moment with a branch in Washington, D.C. And we must use this opportunity to get rid of these people once and for all, because if we don't, we're going to suffer the next assault from them in the form of war, nuclear war, an artificially created Israeli-Iran conflict, which doesn't serve the people anywhere in the Middle East if it all goes up in flames. It serves these people who are playing chess, geopolitical chess. Or famines or vaccinations or whatever. So that's why I say we really have to draw the line now and identify what's going on and get to the root of the problem, which is this criminal group of individuals.
I fully concur with that, and I say, and I keep sending the message. Sometimes people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's just all going to fall apart," and I believe that. This is actually as much of a challenge as it is. It's also an amazing opportunity. Jane, the other thing I would say is every little bit counts, because I listened to you on another radio show. I guess it was 3 or 4 months ago. It was one of your very first ones, and you called on people to take your report and file it with the police. And I went and did that here in the Netherlands. And the police came into my living room. They interviewed me, and basically they totally understood what I was saying. And sometimes people will argue, you talk about the whole genocidal plan. I am strong with that too. I will just go right into the whole genocidal plan. I don't play it safe like Gary Null, okay? He was right before the New York State Assembly hearing. And he had a very impassioned plea against this vaccination. But he did state, he did sidestep the whole depopulation agenda. And he said, look, if it's safe and effective, I'm okay with it. And I just thought, wait a minute, now you're opening up a little door there. He wasn't taking the super hard line. And yeah, I'm just seeing that unless we take the super hard line, like you say, they could move on to the next step, whether it be
absolutely
collapse or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, Susan. I agree with you. I think we have to realize that they might try to get out of this in some way or another. Gary Null had me on his radio show just a week ago and stopped me after 3 minutes as soon as I started talking about the fact, it is a fact that pandemics is classified as a bioweapon. He just, I was cut off from his radio show entirely. So there are people out there who are, putting up red herrings and smoke screens. And we have to recognize that we, as a humanity, and particularly the next generation, is being threatened by these people in a very, very direct way, and we have to take action to stop it. And that's why I wanted to thank you for having me on your radio program, Susan, and thank you for all your work that you've put in over these months. The awareness is growing because of the efforts people like you've been making, and I hope this radio program too reaches a big audience in the Islamic world, where people need to be aware too, as the Mecca approaches and this pilgrimage, that there are dangers associated with this swine flu vaccine. Unfortunately, I have to go now, but I just wish you all the best, and we will be in contact very soon. Anyway.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Bye.
Okay, bye bye. Stay tuned. Right after the break, we'll be meeting with Dr. Leonard Horowitz. Over a decade ago, he made the connection between the global depopulation agenda and the vaccination programs that are spread around the world. He was just recently interviewed with Al Jazeera. So let's hear what he has to tell us. Okay, stay tuned. Perhaps you have a product that you would like featured here at Wake Up Project Radio. If so, you can contact us at wakeupproject.com. That's wakeupproject.com, and you can inquire about pricing. And there's a double benefit in that. Not only do you reach a wide global audience, but you're also helping to support the radio programming. And inshallah, God willing, we will evolve into a full-blown radio station to quicken the awakening around the earth. Okay, welcome back to the second half of the show. I am just so pleased to introduce to you Dr. Leonard Horowitz. This man is the one that is fighting this fight. He takes the hard stance on this issue, the same hard stance that I take, and that's why I just so appreciate this man. So does Jane Burgermeister. I mean, you know, she takes a hard stance, and these two are they're the two tough ones fighting this fight. And, well, there's a lot of others out there, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, okay, let me introduce Dr. Leonard Horowitz. You're there, right, on the line?
Hi, Susan. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, our pleasure, our honor, really. So, here we are. Obama has just declared a national emergency based on the swine flu. So it's just, things are really ratcheting up right now. And just like I mentioned, okay, you take a very hard stance, and you say vaccines spark pandemic. And this is exactly what I say as well, based on all the evidence I've read. Could you just explain that for the listening audience?
Sure. It's pretty simple, and it's obvious, and it's common sense, and it's scientific, but it's been completely neglected by the mainstream media, which tells you there's an agenda to cover up a conspiracy to commit global genocide. Mass killing of people for profit, and the ideology of those who are profiting also have a published written desire to reduce the world's population by approximately 2/3. So that's the definition, strict definition of genocide. And what you're looking at, what's obvious, is that H1N1 triple recombinant, which is a combination of avian from Asia, a swine from Mexico, and a 1918 dead corpse's Spanish flu that was dug up in 1997 by a hideous man by the name of Dr. Davis Sensor, that this is a virus that combines genes from those three sources. It's obvious to anyone who has any intelligence and is aware of the science and aware of the genetics that it is really a man-made laboratory creation, much like the 1977 outbreak. And so the people that are getting vaccinated with this live, genetically engineered virus has now posed a huge threat to the planet of recombining with other things such as H5N1, which is circulating thanks to Baxter Corporation's shipping it in regular flu vaccines to 18 European laboratories, and it had already been said to be circulating anyway. So in essence, all we're looking at is right now a time component whereby somebody injecting H1N1 is going to come in contact with H5N1, it's going to recombine, and then they'll sneeze, and then basically you've started a global pandemic with a hideous new plague. That is the greatest risk I see, and I suspect strongly that's what the plan is, that when you read the government's propaganda, and you read what they're saying and what this whole emergency declaration by Obama is about, they're predicting a, quote, hurricane in public health, a outbreak, and to me it's despicable, it is inhumane, it speaks to the worst atrocity, man's inhumanity towards man the planet has ever seen, and it behooves all of us with any reasonable common sense to do whatever we can to stop it.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're breaking up a little bit. I'm wondering if it has to do with the video. Is there a way we can you cut off the video and then maybe the sound will just come through a little clearer? Okay.
Sure, try that.
Yeah.
How's that?
Okay, it sounds good now. It only broke up a little bit, but so we'll see. Hopefully that works out better. Okay, but yeah, because I always point out to people, the 1918, the Spanish flu pandemic. Interesting. The history of that. You want to lay it out for people? I mean, because I think that that kind of hits home.